1 year ago, I started this channel and I had no idea how much it would have grown to by now and kind of the community that's created and how I've kind of evolved to understand and tell a story and seek to inspire you. So I'm really grateful for that. I kind of want to take you back to kind of what's happened and kind of the 2025, going forward and what I'm hoping to do. So like I've said, this channel is, I kind of just launched it, but didn't really have the opportunity to explain what it's about, what I'm trying to do. So you see, the thing is, I want to kind of document my journey in the way of like my running, house projects, kind of like improving the space around me, as well as like things I learned from working a corporate job, as well as cooking amazing plant-based meals, showing like how to cook cool recipes, as well as just simply inspiring you to challenge or tackle your own challenges, which is kind of like the premise of every video. So it was kind of the idea of one thing that could kind of help you take action and kind of help inspire you to set about it yourself. And that's kind of where the idea upon like making, I think it was about within the first 5 to 10 videos, I kind of came up with the catchphrase, or I guess idiom, of conquer mountains, conquer life, which is what I actually want to unpack and break down the origin of that. So conquer mountains and conquer life, I mean it in both a figurative and literal sense. So starting the literal sense, we have to kind of go a little bit back in time. So cast your eyes back. I was in year 9, so I think I was the age of, I think, 14 years old, maybe 15. And we had this school camp where we were basically in the Flinders Ranges in South Australia, and we had to simply borrow these like mountain bikes, and the instructor and our sports teacher, because he kind of like led the camp, the sports teacher was like, we got to go for a bike ride, so get ready. We knew it was going to be tough. And on the day, he's like, okay, see that like mountain in the distance? We're going to ride to that. I was like, holy moly. Like in my mind, I was like, there's no way. So I was like, that was kind of where it was first put to me, that idea. And then we simply got on the bikes and we went to it. But it was kind of at this point, I realized a couple of things. One, I wasn't as fit as I thought I was on the bike. I kind of really struggled to, keep up with everyone. There was a lot of people or a couple of people in my class that were actually in the cycling club at school. So they were really, really fit, as well as just other people that played soccer more frequently. So they were kind of had a really good base fitness. And then you've got someone like me who's kind of like not the fittest. I could kind of like run short distances, but long distance was something I didn't really do that well at. So the idea of being on this bike was really challenging. It was a lot harder than what I remembered riding a bike as a kid, because obviously it was like over such a long distance. And that's kind of where like I started to fall behind. So if you imagine like a group, like this is like, say from here to here, this many people, but eventually it kind of got really, really stretched out and I was all the way at the back riding really slow. So I was kind of like feeling pretty defeated. And there was like this support van that had like food, drinks and stuff that was like following along the bunch. So if you ever wanted to give up, you could actually go in that. But I kind of think I would have gone in that if it were not for the fact that I was surrounded by a bunch of like friends, and it was kind of like they separated the boys from the girls. So it was kind of like a real like brotherhood type of thing where everyone was like, knows how you can do this. And they basically put me and someone else who was about similar speed at the front. So we kind of set the pace. So everyone kind of became more like packed in, and there's more conversations going, and it was kind of a bit more fun, not being like seeing myself all the way at the end, but kind of like leading the charge and kind of trying to keep a certain pace. And that was kind of really like rewarding, but I still found it quite difficult, obviously. And then we kind of eventually got to the point where we were at the mountain. I don't know if we actually climbed up the mountain, but I guess it's the point that it was kind of like the mountain in the distance, and we kind of conquered the distance to get there. And then I do remember being at this point where we're kind of at the top of something, and then we could like descend on the mountain bikes, and it was like this really like technical terrain. It was like it was a straight line, but it was kind of like there were bushes, there were like The track was like so it was like really rocky, it was really bumpy. So it's kind of like a real like test of courage. And I did that and I was really like proud of myself. So kind of that stuck in my mind as something that as a kid, I was like, I did it, but like if I could go back now, it absolutely would have crushed that. Especially because I know how gearing works on the bike, which I think was a crucial component that I wasn't really as aware of. So that was kind of like where the idea of conquering mountains in a literal sense actually stemmed from. Kind of my experience as a kid of realizing that, hey, this is actually something really difficult. So then I guess that takes us to, oh yes, and then kind of on that. So that was kind of like in my head as kind of like a thing that I didn't really conquer. So fast forward a bit, I kind of got a road bike and I used that to train and take my fitness to another level and basically sort out local mountains, hills, challenges to conquer locally. And that kind of gave me the confidence to say, whoa, I actually went from someone who was really unfit back on the bike in the day to someone that can literally see a mountain and cycle right up it, which then obviously like gave me so much experience and knowledge about cycling, bikes, gear, all this stuff that I found it really, really awesome. And I kind of felt like I was like playing a video game, but in real life. So a lot of these learnings I had, I actually crystallized into an ebook, which I call Life Cycles, which is about cycling for life, having how to have incredible fitness, how to have great weight loss through cycling simply. And I was actually really proud of that. And that's kind of like was getting finalized at the time this channel was kind of created because I kind of wanted a product that I believed in, or it was part of my personal brand that I could explain and say, if you want to kind of help me or take your fitness to the next level, this is something that you can actually invest in and it will pay many, many dividends. So that's something like, that was kind of like the first realization of creating this channel, but also around that same time, I kind of was getting more into like running because I was like, I guess the cycling had gotten my fitness to a certain point, but the thing with cycling is I kind of wanted to leverage more of the running side that I never really got to complete and get really, really fast at. So I was kind of like taking things from like, kind of like when I was younger, because I was like a short distance sprinter, I was never really a long distance type of guy. So I kind of wanted to see how much I could overcome that and transform. So that's effectively like where this channel was a way for me to be accountable, because before I had the channel, I was really inconsistent with my running, and this channel really helped me become a lot more consistent with what I was trying to achieve. Like in 2023, I ran a bit. In 2024, which is when the channel started and kind of actually published, I ran an incredible amount. I was really proud of kind of how far I took my running through that. So it was like an accountability marker, like an actual video journal. And then other aspects of my life that I'm kind of reflecting on and feel I've had a tremendous amount of growth and improvement through, which is kind of like, keeping a clean house, fixing the house, learning to cook, be organized, reflections of working a corporate job, how to, get the job, smash the interview process, how to look the part. So it's kind of like became this whole more a broader thing than just simply the fitness, but a lot of, as of recent, my focus is on the fitness in terms of more specifically the running. I've still got the cycling. I can cycle really well, but I kind of want to see where I can take the running. That's why like a lot of the content you'll see as of recent on here is more geared towards the running side of things. But I do eventually, which takes us to our next point, what am I trying to do for 2025? What are my plans? I'll have more content for cycling that will kind of naturally come through. But I guess for 2025, what I'd like to achieve is one, consistency. I want to have 3 videos upload a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday for you guys, which kind of, there might be a short, most of it might be more long form talking like this. But basically each video is a concept of how conquering what I'm talking about is a way to conquer life and kind of like what that then instills in you. So it's kind of like a really easy video to digest and understand. I like doing reviews in terms of like stuff that I find that really, really helps me in achieving my goals. So I find review videos really nice to do. I'm getting better at kind of doing shorts. I've got a much longer way to go. I like cooking content as well. I like doing the ASMR. So it's kind of like still going to be very varied in terms of what I'm doing. So I'm going to continue to kind of push that and kind of find like a rhythm that works for me. But I kind of like want it to show that like to become better as a guy, there's lots of different mountains we can kind of tackle. And then kind of on that point, so obviously I've got a product called Life Cycles, which you can, click the link in the description below and, support me and take yourself to another level by investing in yourself, right? But there's something else that I think would be of tremendous value to you guys. So obviously you guys can subscribe. Every video will have that level of, I guess, education and kind of like relatability where I explain a concept to you. But what I want to do is I kind of want to take the idea of simply, remember when you used to play a video game and there's like the tutorial level where, you run around a bit, you learn the basics, you get comfortable in the game, it's very cozy, the atmosphere is amazing, the nostalgia, like you feel really safe and kind of you're building confidence in yourself before you set out to the real world. So that's essentially what I want to kind of create in form of a free ebook, which I think will be between 40 and 60 pages, where basically I'm kind of taking the idea of, well, if you can't spend any money, what do you actually have around you in your vicinity that you can kind of look at as an opportunity to conquer, which will give you the confidence to kind of I guess like to start getting comfortable in your character and kind of going out more to tackle bigger challenges out there. So it's kind of like, a testing, a tutorial level, which I'm really excited to create and hopefully have out sometime in 2025. I've kind of got like a bit of a rough idea about the concepts I want to cover in this, but I think having this channel and doing a lot of these videos, you'll kind of potentially see some of these concepts repeat that I'll talk about, which then might eventually result in the crystallization of them into the ebook. So it's a bit more digestible than watching through all my content. So I kind of want to give you something that like you could go away from a video that inspires you to see how it goes into taking action right now where you are with what you have. And then when you're kind of in the point where you're comfortable enough and you're ready to make the investment into cycling, taking your fitness to another level, weight loss, and kind of just ready to go out there into the world, then that's kind of where that will come into place. It's kind of like bridging the gap in terms of that. And then as well, like so a lot of this is going to be documenting my running goals as well, which I'll explain in a separate video, because I'm at my fittest form yet, and I want to continue that onwards, but I kind of want to share with you things to be careful for when you start running. And then I guess my other thing I'd like to do is one-on-one coaching. So 60 minutes, you book a time with me. It's going to be in the link in the description. And then I can help you with your goals, your fitness, corporate stuff with a corporate job, how to cook, so many elements in terms of where you can make a start today and kind of how to have that betterment for your life and kind of how I've been able to kind of get a bit of a balance as of late and kind of start to get into a bit of a groove in terms of what I like to do. But with that, it's kind of like reflecting on this. I'm really grateful for you, the viewer, the listener, my audience, my guys. I never would have thought that I would actually have so many views across so many videos, so many subscribers already. And I don't consider myself anything special in terms of the content I'm putting out. I'm trying my best. Bit by bit, I'm starting to learn how to use the software. I'm learning how to make a video better, explain myself more clearly. So I feel like I'm starting to make the progress, and you'll kind of be able to see that someone like me who doesn't really have a lot of, say, experience in this and kind of where I'm starting from. I'm still working a 9-to-5 job, but this is something I'm quite passionate about, and kind of fitness and inspiring others, to cross the finish line faster than they ever thought possible, to realize the potential within, is something I'm really interested in exploring and kind of taking to another level. So that's kind of like where I kind of want to leave it at, to say I'm very grateful for you for joining so far. I want you to continue along this journey with me. If you kind of find this inspiring, you can share this with someone that will need this. But I kind of want to say that, kind of tying back to me, without going into it heaps, like I was simply as a kid, quite an introverted, like nerdy guy that played a lot of video games, and a lot of kind of who I was tied to that. But kind of through the bike, getting into fitness and building my confidence, I was able to see other challenges around me in the world and mountains to conquer, which kind of started to kind of help me transition more into like adulthood and understanding like how to conquer life more and more, which is like a positive snowball and feedback loop. That's kind of why I want to continue making this content to help inspire you to conquer the mountain and conquer life. Thank you.